The Australians have won the World Test Championship against India, and fine day 5 it was, over very, very quickly. All it took was until the third over to get 2 wickets. Virat Kohli early, which was an amazing catch from Smithy, amazing bowling from Scotty there, getting in nice and tight, and then throwing a wider one out there on an okay length. It was fairly full. Kohli just obviously got a little bit on that one. And then Jadeja comes out and gets him second ball with a nice one. Just leaving the bat slightly, angling in towards the stumps from around the wicket, and then leaving the bat and getting that nick. So, amazing start. It was all over in that third over. The Indians needed 2 of those 3 guys to come out. That's Rahane, Jadeja, and Kohli to have a big partnership. You obviously wanted it between Kohli and Rahane there. Did not happen. So Jadeja and Rahane was their last chance, and that was game over there. But you needed some, at least one decent partnership from them, and then one once they lost a wicket from the other 2 there, because you weren't going to expect Thakur or any of the bowlers from there to come out and sort of score 80 or 100 there. So game over. We spoke about in the preview that thought the Aussies would win by 100. Just thought that the Australian batting lineup was a little bit more superior, with Smith and obviously Marnus being the top tier guys. And then we only needed 1 or 2 of the rest of the 6 batsmen in total to come out and do really well. And that's exactly what happened with Travis Head with the massive innings in the first one there. That day 1 when India sent Australia to bat, Aussies came out and absolutely did a great job. So, Warner started to kick things off, and we won't discount his efforts on that day 1 to come out and get the 43 fairly quickly as well, and set up a bit of a platform with Marnus there before Smithy and Head could come out and absolutely dominate. So I think that's where the game was won on day 1, and we will go through a bit of a review for all 5 of the days, but kicking it off with the finisher here on day 5. So big congrats to Travis Head, who got player of the match for turning the game, as we spoke about there. But let's go to the scorecard and how we finish things off. So we already spoke about the Australian second innings there, and we go into this day with Kohli on 41, I believe, and Rahane on about 20 there. And Kohli started pretty well, got to himself to 49, as I said, just nicked that wide one there. Jadeja come out. Scotty just an absolutely perfect over. And from there he didn't have to bowl a hell of a lot. He ended up with 16 overs for the match, 3 for 46. And now the question is, how do you keep Scotty out of the side heading into the Ashes? And the big news here is obviously it's a very short turnaround into the Ashes. So I think the allotment of the 4 pace bowlers that they've got in Pat, Scotty, Starkey, and also Hazy are going to be able to switch around a little bit. If one's carrying a little bit of a niggle or something like that, they can bring the 4th bowler in. And it's such an amazing luxury to have. It is obviously tough to leave one of them out, and they have to do that each and every time. But I think Scotty, after this effort, I still think he'll be left out of the first Ashes test, but there's a good chance he comes in for the second one. The only issue here is that, Pat, for him, thankfully, and the other bowlers, they didn't have to bowl, 25, 30, 35 overs in an innings. You see here in the second one, Pat only had to bowl 13, and very much easier to finish off with Lyon in that 15.5 overs. Scotty, being the guy that's likely to miss out in the first test, bowled a good chunk of overs in both innings. And I think that was strategic, along with the fact that he, strategic for thinking about the next test, but also thinking about how well he obviously bowls. So that's something to note there for sure. And then we move on to obviously a small partnership there between Bharat and also Rahane before Rahane left us. And wow, pretty poor shot there actually. He knew he'd stuffed up obviously when he nicked it, but line was fine. Obviously pretty wide. You want to be going at those ones, especially in this scenario when you're the main batsman left. But he just went for the wrong length there, and it was a good ball from Starkey around the wicket, just left him a little bit and got the nice nick to Alex Carey there. And a big shout out to Al. He obviously had an incredible match here, and his innings in his batting efforts in both innings were spectacular. So to go along with that, and his catching in this was immense there. We had the awesome catch off Yadav there, was it? Yeah, the short one off Umesh there was awesome. Just right up top there, and then he had the one down leg, which they didn't end up giving out. It was off the hip, but some of his keeping efforts were really good. There was a stumping chance as well that he just got back for, but that was really sharp. So I think Carey's really working his way into a mainstay, obviously, in this test arena. the batting was that next step. Keeping is getting better and better, as we can see, and then the batting is getting top notch there as well. And he's someone that is a little bit of a game breaker, given he can be fairly aggressive when batting as well. So yeah, overall it was, as I said, once those couple of guys went down in Kohli and Jadeja, it was pretty well game over from there. Bharat managed to get, I think it might be his highest score in Test matches at 23, so he looked okay for that. But then caught and bowled from line. He was in there at the end. He ended up being the second last wicket. So at that point, he was just trying to go for it a little bit and try and get as many runs as he can, and just skied it for Lyon. So let's talk about Starkey's there. I really like, obviously, his type of bowling, especially to clean up a tail, is always amazing, because he can bowl that short ball coming into the body from around the wickets to majority of right-handers who are the tail enders, most of the right-hand bowlers, obviously, and then he can bowl that Yorker. So the Yorker and the short ball coming into the body is the way to play it. And he picked up a couple of wickets, and he was solid. And he's so important to this side just for the point of difference. And when you've got Pat and Scotty, or Pat and Hazy, or however you want to play that, to go along with Cam Green, all bowl very similar in a way. Line length, good pace. It can do a great job there. Starkey, that change up, and then obviously depending on who they're playing against, or what type of situation they're in, he can create foot marks as well for guys like Lyon. And we'll see we'll see who England throws up. They have lost Jack Leach for the series, so in a couple of days, guys, I'll get into the Ashes preview. In that first game match preview, once we get a clear idea on squads and everything like that. I'm pretty sure that's going to be close to set. As I said, probably likely one change for the Aussies, if there is, with Hazy coming back. So we'll be able to do a good preview on that Ashes one then. But yeah, Lyon, awesome to get some good reps in for him. 4 for 41 off his 15.5 was awesome. He obviously cleaned up a fair bit of the tail as well. He got Bharat there, he got Thakur, and he also got Siraj. But then the early one for Rohit Sharma was massive, and a big wicket there. So yeah, a good overall Test match from Nathan Lyon as well. The bowlers obviously spectacular, but as I said, that the big efforts there were the Australians in their batting. So as I said, really happy with Warner in his first innings. Didn't really like the second, but I'm glad that he was able to get through the tougher period in that first innings in this Test match. It just gives all of these guys a great run through heading into the Ashes. Khawaja was still a little bit worried about. Obviously, didn't get away in either of the innings. He had the duck and then the 13. Thankfully, got to face some balls in that second innings, but he still looked a little bit all at sea, unfortunately. So those two guys there. Warner, a little bit of a pass mark, obviously, for really helping us out in the first innings, and Khawaja, a little bit on the negative side. We need to get him better. Labuschagne got in both innings and then got out. Obviously, the second innings, I'll say, both good balls. The first one, he left a bit of a gap. Second one there was just too good. So 26 and 41. 4-, you'll take that. We know the quality he's at. He looks great at the moment, so we're not worried about him heading into the Ashes. He will have his moments for sure. Steve Smith looked great. Obviously, the second innings there with the 34, getting himself out. So, amazing from him. He looks like he's going to have a big series, a big summer. Can't wait to see Smithy bat. Travis Head got himself into a good rhythm. Cameron Green, the 25 off 95, just gets him some time out there, which I think is very important, very helpful in these conditions, especially him coming from India in the IPL. He needs to get some time out on the park. So, 95 balls in this one. 25 runs, a bit slow. He'll find that happy medium. I'm sure he will. And then Carey's 40-odd and 66 was great. Starkey got some runs. But yeah, overall, the batting outfit, very happy with where they're at. It's just Khawaja, really, that we're a little bit worried about. And that should be fine. But yeah, bowling, awesome. And as I said, we'll get into the big review of the Ashes series coming in the next few days. But just going back to what we said in the preview, Aussie batsmen, we have the two best batsmen in the match, which was always going to give us the edge. And then I felt guys like Travis Head and Khawaja or Warner kind of evened out with someone like Rohit Sharma, who's a 40-odd average type of guy. But we were speaking about Indians and where they're at in all their batting averages in that preview in England. Not, that was against England, obviously, for the most part, but not exciting, not great overall. And that showed here, getting out for 296 and 234. It was the Ajinkya Rahane that actually kind of saved them a fair bit, and obviously Jadeja, but that was where this game was lost for them. And then us Australian bowlers have, I think, the better bowling lineup, and you can see why. A mixture of the good bowling lineup, their ability to score runs in England, not exactly there. That was the difference, obviously, with a couple of massive innings from some of our batsmen. So I think it's very much important to give the bowlers their credit, but the batsmen being sent in on day one did an amazing job. So that's the review of that test match, guys. I hope you enjoyed me going through those 5 days. I know I definitely did, and I can't wait to watch the Ashes at the end of this coming week. So very excited by that. It's all coming thick and fast. I'll get that preview out to you guys in the next few days, and then I'm keen to follow each day of the first game of the Ashes. Have fun, guys. Thanks for watching.